Na, na, na,
in
na,
the morning.
na, na, na. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. We rolling?
You're rolling.
I would like to start with a formal apology.
Right.
At the end of last week's episode, often you may be aware that sometimes I just bring up a random statement that I ask Ben to answer. I say, hey, Ben, I heard you were talking to the head of coffee and he told you to relay this message. What is it? And I throw him under the bus. And last week I said, I hear that we were talking about social media and how to do it in a business. And I said, and I hear you've started a new adult-only coffee content page. And then Ben informed me that his parents listen to this podcast, which I'm impressed by and unaware of. Mama, Dada, I would like to formally apologize. Your son is nothing but a saint and he would not start an adult-only coffee content page. And then Ben was telling me that they're whipping out the old Breville and yeah.
Well, like my parents.
What's their relationship with coffee?
It's a good, healthy relationship. I mean, definitely addicts and don't start the day without one. But yeah, certainly they were always drinking coffee as far as I know, kind of growing up. But as I started working in the coffee industry, I dragged them along more and more and got them more and more equipment set up at home. So they've got a pretty nice little setup of a home espresso machine.
What are they rocking?
They've got like a Expo bar, I think the Brutus, which is a multi-boiler kind of nice.
Oh no, so that's not like a Breville. That's like a E61.
A little Mazda Mini kind of sitting on the bench there.
You got him in that real like late 2010 like coffee vibes going.
That's where access to cheap machinery stopped. But yeah, they've been visiting me recently, which has been lovely. And I don't normally have an espresso machine on my bench at home because we've got like limited bench space. I'd normally just do the filter coffee.
Oh, was it limited bench space? I was going to be like, dude, I got about 48 coffee machines sitting here that I can pass on.
This is the professional space here, but at home, but I did borrow one of those 48 machines and got like one of the little Breville/Sage machines on the bench and they've been brewing up some shots.
Did you take the Sage? Because we have all the
Sage with the converter.
We have all the UK branded ones here for the videos as well.
But was pulling some shots there, which was great. But it was interesting, like sharing. I kind of go, oh, check out these weird, crazy kind of coffees that I bring back, and it's interesting, like different mixed results. I think they enjoy kind of tasting different things and experimenting, but they're also like kind of like that rich, chocolatey kind of flavoursome ones, and the big fruity things are maybe not as it's
95% of the audience, right? Like that's like what they're going to have. Our main seller is always the chocolatey one. Even the people who aren't in coffee that you would expect a coffee adjacent, designers, architects, like these people that are like foodies and whatever, for whatever reason, it doesn't convert as much into that like coffee thing. And even those type of people are generally like, a little bit of sweetness, and I don't want bitterness, but it's like, I don't want that, crazy, high acidity, crazy kind of thing.
People like what they like. Yeah, that's nice.
People like what they like.
But we just wrapped up a great episode recently on social media and marketing, I guess, in general terms. And it was a really cool little segue episode, I guess. We've been having some great guests on the show, which is awesome. But we get a lot of questions in about social media and how to make that successful for a coffee business. So we thought, let's try and tackle that, unpack the concepts a bit. You've had great success with Golden Brown and with Pizza Shop Media, your kind of media content production. So it's a bit of a new approach, new format for us. So let us know if you've got, what you think of that once you have a listen. But just trying to go, yes, we really want to talk about the detail of preparing coffee, making coffee, roasting coffee, importing coffee, but also want to talk about all of the skills and areas around it that can support those kinds of businesses, like good social media, like good human resources, like good financial management, all of these things that hopefully make us a better industry.
Well, eventually, if this kind of thing is actually helpful, because there's a lot to take in from a podcast, but in the future, this is something where we could be like, great, if you're part of our community group over here, we've created a 20-page PDF on social media for coffee that you can access. There's all these types of things. So it is helpful for us to know like what you guys are finding beneficial or whether we're just talking out our butts and no one cares.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had a couple episodes that, by design are supposed to be their evergreen for people to kind of jump back to. And I feel like the episode that you guys did is one of those ones.
Oh,
there is so much you guys spoke about, and I obviously know Ro's background, and I didn't actually, I feel bad. Anyway, I know obviously from the judging and your background with coffee and everything, but like when it came to the brand identity and your insight into it, my God, if anyone's listening to this and hasn't actually doubled back on the main episode, please do, because it's, guys, the
type of hype man we need in our life.
Always.
This is the type of hype we get when we remove his computer and we have it up here.
He can't be scrolling on the TikToks.
Scrolling.
He's editing like 3 podcasts in like one go with like the Matrix like rolling.
The Asana templates.
Getting on his project management.
Yeah.
But I think, let us know what you think. And if there's any other topics that you'd like us to feature on the podcast, please drop us a line, because we're always looking for what's going to be most value to all of you out there listening. So let us know. But one of the things that always, I don't know if it bugs me, but that I wrestle
grinds
with,
your gears.
That grinds my gears, is I worry with social media, is there, especially with the shorter form kind of hooky content, is there a risk that we kind of just end up looping ourselves only back into that space? I guess I'm a little older than some folks out there, and social media wasn't around when I was starting my coffee journey or my kind of media consumption journey like a lot of people. And I'm kind of a long form guy. I love magazines. I love books. I love print magazines, probably a little too much. And social media, I definitely can get caught in it as well. But I kind of worry about where the hype can overtake any depth of conversation, or do we just get kind of trapped in that?
I think people can treat it wrong, but I still think it is a great outsource point going beyond that. And there was nice moments with us where we saw that, where it's we teamed up with Cafe Smart last year and you just do a post out being we're raising money for this great cause, come down to La Marzocco. And there's no media apart from an EDM and that going out there.
Yeah.
And then there's a line of 500 people at the door at 9 a.m. ready to go. And you're oh, there's a cool thing, which then turned into conversation, which then turned into acknowledgement of this great brand and this great service that was kind of happening. But you're 100% right. And there are the wrong people that get caught in that world of social. But I've generally found you get caught in that wrong world when your messaging is wrong. Right. You get caught in that world when you're doing it for the views, or you're doing it to cause a stir and you're not doing it for an actual purpose or cause.
Yeah.
When you do those things and you're honest with what it is from the start and where the other things are, that's when people will start diving deeper and kind of continue on down that passage.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. It kind of goes back. I read at one point people suggesting don't refer to it as content, because it's kind of a reductive term that almost steers you in this production machine. I've just got to churn out content. It doesn't matter what it's for, what it's about, or what the purpose is. It's just produce more, get stuff out there, volume. And I think that starting to think about it, what are the stories, or what's the information even that I'm giving to people, or the entertainment, or the value, or some other term. I don't know what the right term is, but reframing it so you are thinking about it has a purpose and it has a particular audience. Is it actually going to be valued for that? Because there's so much stuff out there that takes a lot of work to produce, but it's just kind of not really adding anything to the discussion.
And you can see that it's when we had Morgan on, she obviously adds value by doing lots of recipes, education, lots of those things. But her most viral things are these silent skits.
Yeah.
I wanted to do one. We ran into her while we were in a host. I wanted to do one with her where we do a silent skit where she walks in and just mouths something, and then it cuts to me going, I can't hear you. What? And it cuts back to her miming, and there's captions I'm with you. There's no captions for me. What are you saying? No, but she, for me, I was always blown away with how many views those got. And they were great, but I was I didn't get it. I was what? It's someone going in going hey, can I have a skinny latte? And the barista's oh, we only have no fat. And the person's that's okay. And they go, okay, I'll make it. And they're hey, this has been the best coffee I've had. And they walk out. I'm what is happening here? And then she had a clear point where she came on, she was I was taking the beautiful, small hospitality moments that you experience when you go into a cafe and representing them so you could experience them online. And I was like, that's why it's loved. Because that little moment that you love in your day, people are being calmed in a world of chaos online. They're like calmingness, kindness, and like friendship or what community. And I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. So she's got a clear, defined vision and content pillar of what she's creating. There's recipes, there's education, and then there's that community building point there. Killed it.
And that the brand experience is consistent with what you have in person. So you watch a video, it's the same vibe as when you walk into that cafe, and you get the same feeling, even if it's a completely different channel and mode of storytelling, mode of interaction. You still go like, oh, that's great. And I think that's a cool way to think about it. If you're an inner city cafe that's servicing busy office workers, you can have some like upbeat hype kind of moment going, like, yeah, there's some energy that you're going to get recharged coming in. That's what your tone, that's what your visuals should be like. That's what the aesthetic. If you're a craft roaster doing only premium high-end things, then take that like pristine, kind of like polished, small scale, hyper-focused visual storytelling. You want to slow it down. You want to like savor every different angle of the thing. Talk about it in those terms. If you're a coffee importer, you are like the passport. You are the journey for people to engage with this incredibly...
Travel the world through coffee.
And so like, how do you tell that story? I think that a lot of that's kind of like some fun ways to creatively think about.
Social media round 2. Before we started the pod, we had Ben going like, what are we even going to talk about in this coffee break? How long are we in now? Like
10 minutes.
There you go, 10 minutes and we've still just done our round 2 of social media. But all valuable.
Thank you.
All great stuff.
I don't know.
We've got a question from Liam. Hi, Liam. Yes.
Hey there.
Hi, Liam.
First time caller.
Bling. I'm not sure if we'll keep this in, but just to go off that.
Oh, we're keeping it in.
Okay. Kind of a similar thing. Like the tone of our hype reels that we've been implementing in the new edits of our kind of longer form episodes. I got some feedback that are we leaning towards like the wrong tone because it's a bit like hook and like it is so engaging.
It's intense.
It really is. It's so engaging, especially when we get like the pro editors in,
Who's the feedback from though? Someone who listens or one of the kids out the back?
Sonam,
yeah.
Yeah. One of the kids.
Yeah. One of the kids.
Him being like, it's interesting. We put time into it and it gets so much engagement because of the storytelling and everything. But then when it gets into the main meat of it, does it maintain that energy?
It's interesting. And I think it's great to ask these questions. I think this is exactly what you should be doing, is always going like, is that in line? Is that in sync with the tone? And then kind of going, okay, well, there's actions you can do. Like we took this action of creating a new intro piece of these kind of reels as snapshots.
And the reason, if anything, as we talk about it, I think like, if it's the intensity of it, it's like that can be brought down. It's like, but the editing of it and what it does is it promises the audience something that they're going to be receiving from this episode. We basically take a snapshot, statement or thought or idea from each chapter of our episode and we place it in so that you're like, oh, they're going to talk about watering coffee. They're going to talk about how most cafes can't keep up with today. And they're going to talk about how this is the reason why most cafes are shutting down. Then before I've even listened to the episode, I'm like, I need to listen to get to that point because I care about it. It builds up this idea of a promise for the listener. Yes, tonally, maybe there could be work, but
I think this is on me. I think I need to we need to edit it so it's, classy lo-fi, beautiful, rather than, I remember the first one I said, no, literally. Do you remember the first one? I think it was one of our, it was a review of.
Was there flames in it? I feel like there was flames
I just flame. I jumped into the judge saying something and then it has a flame
Full transition.
Gosh.
Classy.
Anyway.
Always use the flame transitions. That's the lesson from today.
Yeah.
Tone deaf. Anyway.
No, all good. I think, it was a great episode. I think we got some good insights in there.
As we said, reach out if you had any more questions.
Yeah.
Hey, feedback on that episode, or if you had any questions for yourself about how your company is doing it, or something that maybe doesn't apply, that you're like, hey, I was actually thinking about it a bit differently. We're happy to hear.
And if you've seen any good examples out there of coffee companies, whether it be roasters, cafes, baristas, importers who are doing a great job at managing this space, drop us a message, forward it through. We'd love to check those out. That's always fun.
Ben, I believe you had some news for us. This
Got
isn't throwing you under the bus. I hear you were starting your own.
I'm starting my own news channel right now.
Sorry, Mum and Dad.
Mum and Dad Bicknell.
Oh, Mum and Dad Bicknell. I want to meet you. I haven't met you. You sound like lovely people.
They are lovely people.
Yeah.
They are lovely.
And also, we need to go and get our dinner with our,
we need a little
respective partners.
family dinner date.
Yeah.
We do.
Wait.
It'll be beautiful.
Oh my God. Sorry, we're in the news report, but I'm just getting a live feed.
Cross in first.
Oh my God, it's Ollie from Condesa.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Rowan. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for the intro. I really appreciate it. So today is Wednesday, the 12th of November, and we find ourselves in the market at 422.70. That means it's broken through the upper resistance level of 420. What is the main driver here? Well, one of the big main drivers is that the US dollar is weakening against the Brazil real. And that means that the Brazilian producers aren't getting as much US dollar when they sell their coffee, and therefore they're in fact being incentivized not to do so, which in turn is causing the market to go up. On top of this, we're also seeing CE stock levels continuing to drop as the tariff remains in place. Even though that's likely to change in the coming month or so, ag numbers remain at 416,000 bags, which is quite low. Again, another factor maintaining a higher C market price. However, there is some good news on the horizon. In the US, they have agreed to continuing with the budget, and that means that the shutdown will cease. At that point, we expect the US dollar to recover against the Brazil real, which will have the opposite effect of causing the market to come off a little, which is positive. One of the other key data sets that we're seeing is that the origin partners that we're lucky enough to work with around the globe are offering really positive differentials, really good pricing, and they're really incentivizing buying. Whilst no roasters are buying at this point in the market, one of the tips or tricks from me would be to make sure that you speak to your partners, make sure you speak to the producers that you work with, and see if they can give you positive pricing that works for you. Perhaps it's an opportunity to take some risk off the table in that way. And, if you do have some on-call contracts, you could be holding those futures for a later date, perhaps when the market comes off, or similarly with your FX, perhaps with the AUD bouncing back up, you could take those opportunities. But again, that's only my advice. That's only what I do. And that's it from me. Guys, it's always a pleasure. Back to you in the studio. And of course, it's just coffee.
Well, Ollie, thank you for your update. I've got some news I want to share now. So I think we're going to go into this, but at least we're informed about the market.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Well, this one is also about money, some pricing
I
here.
love money.
There's a new report out that I thought was interesting for a couple of reasons. This is about the US coffee shop prices, like the coffee prices, are rising. Not really that's outstanding. We all know prices are going up for cost of operations. The poor old US have got tariffs across the board.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
Yeah, all new. But the thing that stood out to me is that this study was showing that year on year or year over year, that the median price for hot coffee has gone up to $3.52. This is US dollars and Uster. And I would say that probably I would imagine that most of this coffee would be batch brew, kind of filter coffee is the median, normal, the regular cup of joe, right?
Percolated.
But also that the median price for cold brew has gone up to $5.47.
Wait, what was the first price?
$3.52 for hot. And then suddenly the same or different coffee is up at $5.47.
So nearly $2 price difference.
What?
Is it just because cold coffee is like more popular that there's like more of a, like we're so ingrained, like filter coffee in the States, like just regular drip coffee has been around forever. Is it the same with us with like this idea of espresso, not going above, 350 or whatever? Is it because it's just what it's always been? Whereas like cold brew,
kind of a new category.
Oh, we're adding, cream to it and this and that. Because cold brew is like, A, you make it in bigger batch previously. So ideally it's like easier on time constraint.
Yep.
B, it's just a worse product.
That's a hot take right there.
So when I say like worse product, you can enjoy it more or do that. But I would be under the assumption if I made a filter coffee with a beautiful fresh coffee and I made a filter coffee with a 2-month-old filter with coffee that one would taste dramatically worse and it would be hard to sell. I feel like I could make a cold brew with 2-month-old coffee and no one would know the difference.
Well, it's going to be very similar. I agree. I don't think that it's as exciting a beverage or it has the potential for as good a quality as a hot brew.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can love it and that's fine and whatever. But I'm talking here from a quality and cost and all that kind of stuff. Like, how is there a $2 per drink difference from cold brew to a hot coffee?
Yeah.
Would it be the 1 ice and 2, is it always in like a bigger serving? Like,
But where does it come down? Because there's been a lot of argument. There's been a lot of argument about this, of like why even an iced latte costs more. And it's like the barista isn't steaming the milk. They're dumping milk, ice and espresso in a cup and handing it to me. Why is this $2 more?
Yeah. That doesn't seem to make much sense to me either. I will admit I have not read into the detail of this report, so there might be answers to all of these questions.
It's like
I've just taken the headline.
I love speculating wildly though. It's like it's a really clear thing where it's like, no, we're incorporating every cold brew with like added cold foams and this and that. Whatever.
Okay, fine. Actual reasons.
No.
I have a suspicion though that, well, maybe an assumption here would be all coffee, median price, huge market range, like from real baseline diner kind of commodity coffee to super high-end specialty. Cold brew, much narrower range. You don't have this really commercial kind of like standardized coffee. Like think about where cold brew as a beverage line has been introduced. Yes, there's some more mainstream chains, like I'm sure like Starbucks and the crew have.
It's pretty available in the States.
But it won't be your diner coffee. It won't be like restaurant coffee, convention center coffee. I don't know how all of this plays into those numbers.
I think that it's like the idea here of like cafes now can make money through signature drinks and charge $12.
Yeah.
Because it's a new category that they can price how they want. Yeah. Whereas espresso and flat white and latte, because I'm speaking Australian, that's what we drink here, has been around forever. So people struggle more to pay that extra. And I'm sure it's the same with filter coffee in the States. I'm sure there's like I'm not paying more than $3.50 for you to pump some hot Java juice into a cup.
Pump some hot Java juice into a cup.
Never want to hear that.
Can I have 2 hot Java juices pumped into a cup, please?
Yeah. If USD is USD, what is AUD? Oud.
Gold.
It's
not as cool. Uster's cool. I got that Uster in my account.
I thought you were saying Robusta before.
Oh, Robusta. No, I was saying USD. Uster. What
this podcast has devolved into. Okay, let's move along to our next news item.
Ben's. Oh my God, no.
There's another study that came out.
I'm just going to apologize. I love this segment where I can just apologize to your parents about everything. This whole episode.
I'll really appreciate.
What are their names?
I'm not divulging.
No, give me fake names. I don't care. Just give me something.
Sheila and Barry.
Sheila and Barry.
Sheila and Barry.
You have the most bogan parents that have ever existed. Sheila and Barry.
Apologies to my real parents.
Sorry, Sheila and Barry.
Okay, moving on to our next piece of news here, which I thought was quite interesting, was that a study out of Brazil is promoting that closed fermentation, aka anaerobic
oxygen. Yeah,
no oxygen.
That's what anaerobic is, right? Without oxygen.
Yes, correct. Yep, could boost the quality of unripe coffee cherries.
Oh, like the one, okay. So as in they can make them drinkable? Because what happens now, there's a whole sorting thing, right? Where you put cherries in and it will separate out. The unripe ones float? Or so the ripe ones sink and the unripe ones float.
Yeah, the heavier ones sink.
Yep. Yeah, the heavier ones.
Yep. But so it normally will happen in like coffee producing countries, especially Brazil, where you do machine harvesting, right? So the machine goes along and just pulls every cherry off the tree. Some are ripe, some are overripe, some are underripe, right? They don't ripen all at the same time. So what do you do with all these green unripened cherries? Normally, they kind of get put in a triage or in like a low quality commodity thing or used for caffeine, kind of soluble
to extract caffeine.
Yep. But what this is saying is that there's the potential actually to anaerobically ferment those unripe cherries and turn it into something that's considered somewhat close to specialty and so drinkable. I think this is really fascinating in this merging of, this isn't about some crazy high-end fermentation kind of competition coffee. This is actually just saying, hey, you can create some real added value here as a coffee producer by
treating
your coffee cherries in a particular way.
I'm going to take it back to a really rogue example.
Oh, really?
Did you ever watch, is it what's the River Cottage? Is that the one where like a guy basically moves from the city, goes out, gets a cottage, but his whole thing was,
I love that
series. It's unbelievable.
Pretty
And he
great.
basically starts a farm. But one of his things is like, he's like, hey, I've grown all these strawberries. I can only sell, I've only made this many. I could sell them for a punnet for $2. He's like, or I can put in a little extra work, make a jam and sell it for $5 and up that value. So if like farmers can do this kind of thing here where it's like, how can we add not perceived value, real value to a product that otherwise would not draw that kind of thing, like for making caffeine tablets out of or whatever they're doing. And I think also co-ferments. I've always been like, I feel like co-ferments is a cool thing where someone could have a coffee that's still decent. We've got River Cottage, Escape to River Cottage up on the phone here. Yeah, that it's like, hey, it's like, cool, let's make a coffee that tastes like mangoes and it blends well with milk and you can do a signature drink out of it and up that value.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of power in that, and the power that's held by the producers, which is, critically where it needs to shift to. So I think, some really exciting stuff. I didn't think that would be possible. I would be interested to taste it. If anyone has any hookups for this kind of coffee, I'd be interested to taste it because I just wouldn't have thought that it had the sugars necessary to actually kick off that fermentation or change.
Yeah, because that would be the point. When you're underripe, right, you've got more acidity. There's a different pH balance. As it ripens, you get more sugars, and as it overripes, you get too many sugars.
Yeah. But the fermentation process relies on that.
On the sugars for it to start eating those.
It'll be interesting to taste. Yeah. But they're my two little interesting news.
That was some really interesting news, Ben.
Why, thank
you so much.
What do I do with these guys?
Sorry, Mum and Dad. Sorry, Sheila and Barry.
what I'm working with, people.
Just absolute nightmares. No, that was great. I think that brings us to the end of the... Oh, actually, I had one funny kind of story that brings up... This isn't throwing you under the bus, I swear.
Okay.
Do I name the restaurant here? I can, because it was... I can also say the experience was incredible. We were at Margaret in Sydney.
Yes.
We were up there recently for a couple of events. Unbelievable. Like that place, Neil Perry, it's all about produce and it's like simplicity and it's unbelievable. Like delicious, amazing foods. But I was sitting up at the bar because that's my favorite spot to sit in restaurants, seeing everything that's kind of happening, going on, and just watching them all make coffee. They all had the 2010. They'd grind their coffee from their Victoria Arduino, put it down, and they'd tap the side with their tamp, bang, bang, bang. Which is, okay, I will argue, is fine when you haven't done anything yet. If you're just like leveling out and that's all you're doing, sure, give it a little tap, whatever. A couple taps, you don't want too many of the fines falling down. Then they tamp and then they just whip it out again on the side and just like a church bell, gong, gong. They're just whacking the side of that portafilter. And I could see every single shot they pulled was channeling. And I had such an old man moment where I wanted to be like, come over here, young buck. Let me tell you a thing or two. But I didn't. But it's that interesting balance of like when you're so high in like a culinary game and then there's just like, then you have to offer coffee.
We got a whole episode to do here about the...
Let's do it. Yeah, let's find someone great because there are places that are like, when we had lunch at Bray, they're going like, theirs was too next level. Then we were having some crazy like anaerobic fermented thing and everything was about eating natural produce out in their garden. And then we've got some crazy co-fermented anaerobic, like whatever. I was like, that's a different vibe.
Yep.
Noma's probably doing a good job of it.
Yep,
they've opened their own cafe and they've got their own head of coffee that's running a different coffee. What do they call it? The Nomicino or something?
Yeah,
Nomicano. Let's say Nomicano. So maybe we should get them on the pod to have a little chit chat and that could be something because, there's something about places that aren't coffee centric and how can we help them make great coffee?
Love it. On a mission.
Send us an email if you know any of those, if you want to be a part of that. Send us an email at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. Hit us up on the socials, itsjustcoffee.podcast. Follow Liam and just send him annoying messages because it would be funny. And you were telling me that Sheila and Barry called you just before the pod and they had a message they wanted to say. What was it?
They said, we need that latte art template for dusting on the top that I use all the time. Where I'm like, I put my signature on the top of cappuccinos. You know, when you do a little bit of chocolate dusting.
Let's make one specifically for them. There's Sheila and Bazza cappuccino.
It's actually my face with a ding.
Oh, I'd like one of those as well, please.
I'll get you.
I'll see you next week, guys.
Cheers.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apax Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apax Lab Mineral Concentrates. Apex Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apex Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apexlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought he was going to say the website. Thanks.
Now, Ben, I just found out that your mum and dad listen to this podcast.
They do. Thanks, Mum and Dad.
Well, Ben Bicknell's mum and dad, I've got some great news for you. You can stop sending him money because Ben just got a new sponsor on the podcast, Riverina Fresh Milk.
Thanks, Riverina. Thanks, Mum and Dad.
And this is literally the milk that's used by the world barista champion. Must be some of the best milk in the world. And it is, because I drink it and it's amazing.
Delicious, creamy.
But can people was there a special offer that was going on?
Yeah. Well, thanks to Riverina, any Australian cafe can actually get a free sample just dropped to their door.
How do they do it? Riverinafresh.com.au?
That's it.
Just go to riverinafresh.com.au, and if you're in Australia and somewhere where they send Riverina Fresh, then you can get a free trial.
Yeah. Get on it.
Thanks, Ben Bicknell's mum and dad.
Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good.